Okay, Maha, at the end of that video, I did not realize that video was still running. So that's the blooper.
Yeah.
We were way honest. We were
Yes.
speaking our hearts because we didn't know we were on video.
Yeah.
So enjoy the blooper, people. Good morning, YouTube viewers.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi. We're sitting out here in front of the building with the beach behind us. Just enjoying, getting the fresh air. The topic today, if you stick around, it's going to be a short video. And if you stick around, you'll get some great tips and tools on anger management. We're going to talk about some anger management interventions. And we're going to talk about anger management triggers. And we're going to talk about how to identify your triggers so the anger will not increase. So we all become angry from time to time. Sometimes it's brought about in conversation with others, and sometimes it's brought about by something we see, hear. It has more to do with our senses, our smell. You know, being in a different environment, there's going to be different nuances that's not going to be similar to what you're accustomed to in your own country. Sometimes you go in a restaurant, you'll smell an aroma that you're not familiar with. Doesn't mean that it's a bad aroma because you're not familiar with it. You know, you try it and you might like it, but we all have different triggers and different things that makes us angry. So what I suggest to do when you feel it coming about or coming on, the onset of being angry or having an angry outburst, is to kind of take deep breaths, get into the deep breathing techniques that we talked about in earlier videos. And while you're doing the deep breathing, what we're doing is focusing on our cognitive thoughts, because usually our thoughts can be a little exaggerated. We can overthink things. So what I want you to practice is taking very deep breaths, and I'm going to do it first. You can do it as I do it. You can practice it later. It's up to you, but you want to do exactly like this. And what I just did there is I took in a huge amount of air and I released it very slowly. What that does is it oxygenates the brain. So I'm going to do it again. Focus on taking a very deep breath and then relaxing it slowly. And if you've never really did proper deep breathing techniques, you will be pleasantly surprised of the immediate feeling you will have. And the feeling is immediate. I feel it when I do this. I feel the calmness from the oxygen going to my brain. And me releasing it slowly, it releases the endorphins, the feel-good endorphins that we all have. So I'm going to do it again. And I want you to focus on me. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the event. Excuse the background noise. It appears that as soon as I start recording, someone gets into an argument here on the boat. But what I'm trying to focus on is the event that made me angry. And here's a very important part. Does my level of anger match the event? or is the event much smaller than what my anger is suggesting? And when I think about it like that, while executing deep breathing, it's almost where I find that I'm overreacting. And baby Jeannie talks about that a lot. She says, she says to me or Mom that we're overreacting sometimes. And as adults, we do overreact from time to time. So let me go into deep breathing again. While we're deep breathing, we're processing the event. It's very important to process that event. What triggered the anger? So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Now feel that oxygen going through the brain as you release the breath. We're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's an intervention. But now let's talk about what are some of our triggers. Sometimes triggers can be driven by biases. And I'm going to talk about that for a minute. A bias means it's my preference. There's 2 types of biases, and it's very important to understand that. There's a personal bias. I think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. That's a personal bias. I prefer black clothes over bright color clothes, red or yellow. That's a personal bias. We don't get in trouble too much with with that type of bias. The bias that's really going to drive some of our negative cognitive thinking, is a mental bias. A mental bias is a bias that that's embedded in you from childhood. You know, you're taught this as a child coming up, that this is good and that is bad, that a person should be like this and not like that. That's a mental bias. That's something that was given to you from childhood up. This religion is the good religion, this religion is the bad religion. These people are the good people, these people are the bad people. These are all mental biases. We have these and we're not aware of them. It's just reactions that we have. We're very aware of our personal biases, but our mental biases just manifest. They just show up. And if we don't check them, what we're usually doing is we're probably overstepping boundaries with others. Because that mental bias is instilled in us and we see it as legitimate. We've already psychologically legitimized that mental bias. We already understand a personal bias is subjective. I can argue with my best friend about who's the best basketball player in the world, or who's the best scientist in the world, or anything to that nature. It's that mental bias that we have to focus on, because if you focus on your mental biases, when you think about what that event is that's making you angry, more times than not, it's going to be associated with some small mental bias that becomes a pink elephant in the room later, something that goes unaddressed. As soon as you put that mental bias on the forefront, the Philippines smells bad or something like that. Asians are this way and Americans are, that's something that was instilled years ago. And it's something we have to undo. When we undo that, then we're able to move forward with managing our emotions during day-to-day contact with others. So, right now we focused on 2 key points. Once the event happens and we're triggered and we're angry, we practice a de-escalating skill. And then we focused on how do we arrive to that place. And a lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times it's driven by a mental bias. Something that our brain framework tell us this is correct and that's wrong, and they shouldn't be doing this while I'm trying to do that. Or I'm trying to get a nap and they're playing the music too loud. But if you're trying to get a nap in early afternoon, that's a time generally that's appropriate to play music a little loud. So let's role play that situation.
Yeah.
My teenager's playing music too loud. It's the middle of the afternoon and I say, turn that music off. Well, that's going to trigger the teen. It's going to trigger the teen's response. The triggered teen's response is going to trigger me, and I'm going to go authoritarian on them because I'm the oldest or I'm the parent, and I'm going to look past all the other things, all the other nuances that should be considered. Let's role play a better way of handling that. The music's blasting, I'm taking a nap. It's bothering me. I get up, I walk over to the teen's room and I say, I know that it's pretty much an appropriate time for music at this level, but I am so tired. I worked a double shift. Can you please turn it down a little or put the headphones on for a while? I'm gonna try to just take a nap for an hour or two. Then you can go back to your regular routine. Well, first of all, the teen's not going to be triggered because you gave that teenager what teenagers want, and that's autonomy. That teenager doesn't feel like a child. That teenager felt like you gave them a choice, and you made it make sense to them. So what we do is we identify what part we play in our own triggers. So I'm going to leave with that information. We're going to have a part 2 to this later. Thanks for sticking around. And I want you to put some of this, I want you to operationalize some of this. You can read a book, you can look at a YouTube video to get information, but it's not really going to manifest in your lives unless you operationalize it in real time. So when you feel the anger coming, execute real deep breathing skills. Don't just breathe. Go through the actual motions of deep breathing. Then think about, am I being unreasonable? Is it's the event matching my level of anger? Think about all of that. And then finally think about what's a better way to approach this. How do I approach this? Because now I understand that I have these biases that may be, motivating some of this dysfunction. Is this a personal bias? Probably not. Is it a mental bias? That's where the problem will arise. Thanks, guys. Thanks for helping me with the breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
And you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
God bless you all. Control that, but if we try to think first before we react, then that's the time for us to realize that it's.
I see you do it all the time. Good job. I'm a therapist. I see when you do that. Give me my glasses. You're good at that. Oh, yeah. When I get mad and I start talking under my breath and saying things that I shouldn't be saying, I see you using that skill. That's why you're the genie.
Yeah.
Oops.